My place in Canadian history starts off in a little island in the Caribbean named Jamaica, where my grandparents were first born with a long journey ahead of them. But first, I will have to explain how people in Jamaica were able to migrate to Canada. People from Jamaica migrated to Canada mostly due to push and pull factors. Push factors like crime and violence, dirty politics and corruption, limits in territory, education, and job opportunities. A pull factor is the thought of having a new beginning in a new country. People from Jamaica were brought from their homeland and taken to new countries just to be used as slaves. And due to Harriet Tubman and the creation of the Underground Railroad, they were able to escape to get to new land. During the American Revolution, refugees were forced to flee the US and Britain. Because they were loyal to Britain, they were called loyalists, and most of them were black. Britain sent some of the loyalists to Canada to be safe from the war. People from Jamaica would migrate to Canada also to work for cheap labor. Labor like mines, factories, and farms. Also as mechanics, waiters, and clerks. There were a lot of reasons why my grandparents migrated to Canada. Some were because their siblings had already gone there, and they had been there before on vacation, and they really enjoyed the time that they had, and they wanted to experience that for the rest of their lives. They decided to leave Jamaica for a couple reasons too. Reasons like, as I said before, their parents and their siblings had already moved there. There was a lot of crime because they just became independent and life was becoming really rough. So my grandmother migrated to Canada in 1967, and my grandfather migrated 2 years after her. The reason why my grandparents didn't decide to settle anywhere else was because, as I also said before, they had taken a vacation to go visit Canada, and they really liked how the economy was, and they really wanted to enjoy the rest of their lives and build a new family in Canada. My grandparents didn't have a lot of problems when they were living in Canada, but they did have to deal with one of them, which is something that black people still deal with today, which is racial comments and slurs that are thrown at them. And the way they really got over it was just ignoring it. But in the end, my grandparents were successful. They were able to migrate from Jamaica to Canada safely and start a brand new family with their old family. And that's where I fall in my place in Canadian history, from where my grandparents made a strong decision to migrate to Canada, start a new family by having my mother having me. And now I'm going to live through them in my journey in my place in Canadian history.